Well, YouTube, George here. How are you? Lovely day out there today. Really nice. So, following on from our storage system here, which is fully loaded up now, we decided we were going to tackle the bench because it just wasn't working. So I'll give you a good tour now once I show you what's going on. So I had all this stuff let's try that again. Initially, when I set it all up, I had all the test gear in front of me. That didn't work. Then I tried it to the left because I'm left-handed. I thought that'd be the way to go. That didn't work either because leads and stuff were just getting in my way. We'll talk about leads in a minute because they were absolutely doing my head in. So I suppose we'll start over here with this little area. I got a load of this, I think it's 25mm extruded aluminium stuff out of work. It was being thrown out, so I brought it home. So I made this little stand here, and I have my soldering station, and I have my hot work rework station here. This has facility for an iron, but I don't use it because I use this one all the time. So I put this little top on it for me rolls of solder and all that kind of stuff. So I have this spot left here because the next thing that's coming is a desoldering gun. I have been threatening to get one of them for a long time. So we're going to get one. And that's going to live up there. Just make life a bit handier. I do have one of the soldering pumps. It's this one. It's decent, but I prefer a gun. These were they're Japanese made or something. They're very good, very well made, and they produce serious vacuum. But the other thing would be just easier. So we moved the monitors around, and we've the two of them there. Just having the second one turned on. I only really use the second one if I'm looking at diagrams or service manuals or stuff like that. So most of the time it's turned off. Just use this one for the internet and stuff like that. So speaking of, I have all my tools there obviously that I use. Cables used to wreck my head, so I came up with this idea and work one day. I'm surprised it took me this long to think of it, to be honest. So what I done was I drilled a bunch of holes and I have all my leads going up, so you can just pull them up as you want them and then get in there, put them back nice and neat and tidy out of the way. So that's the dummy load and the tank whip, the speaker obviously, the antenna, signal generator. Then there's 2 unit end power cables and a Cybernet power cable. Now in case I want to plug anything else in oddball, I have this here. So that's 30 amps at bench supply, and nice and handy. So next up here I have me what you call it, there we go, that looks a bit better. Me mains voltage meter, and then it has this neon here to show you that the bench is live, and I put some new LEDs under here so I can switch them off if I want. Just flip them off there. Then I have this old thing I made this years ago, so I didn't want to take it asunder, just left it there. That shows me the voltage of the secondary supply, which runs the likes of the LEDs and all that stuff. So the only thing that comes off the main supply up here is whatever I have plugged in here radio wise, or whatever I plug in here, and the amp. So tuner still in the same spot with the FT2800M over it. I am going to run a cable from this from here up into the shack, and I have a switch under the desk, so I'll be able to switch. I have another one of these up in the shack, so I will be able to switch. We'll be able to switch between either 2800M to the vertical up there. So anyway, that's that. Right, so that's that. I have my switch here that I mounted it sideways so it wouldn't take up too much space, and I made this little lever for it so I can switch between the bench or this one. So very quiet today, there's not much going on. So the speaker for this and this are in behind the monitors. They're 6x9s, 2 for each radio. I just got them for nothing, so that's why I use them. So the speaker for the bench is up there. Made that out of a couple of old stereo speakers I had, and there's a switch panel on it there, so you can kind of switch things around. You can have one on its own of the woofer, you can have 2 in series, and then the tweeters are on the end, so you can switch everything in and out, so whatever way you want to do it, you know. But it's just good for the videos. Then there's the lights. You need loads of light at this game, so I have a lot of downlighters there. Them 2 LED panels are kind of like a warm white, but then I got that one there, and that thing is mega bright. It's very, very bright. I find now that I end up using that on its own sometimes, so there's just remote control there for that to turn it on and off. Still a bit of tidying to do here. So that's that. That's that shelf there. Then underneath that we have the DDS generator. It's so simple to use this, which is why I use the generator in this rather than that. We'll get to that. So then we have the Ray Kildana 1998 under that. This counter I use all the time, and you can see I color coded everything, so red and red. The antenna is blue, so you can see the blue there, and the generator is yellow, and you can't see that because it's in at the back. So what I done with this was this was belonging to poor old Vanny, God love him, and he sent this over to me not long before he died. And of course I always used to rip the piss out of him because there was no light in it, and of course first thing I done when it came here was I put a light in the meter. But what I done was I got my hands on another one of them then at some point, and it was really rough. It was a ball of dirt, so I stripped it for parts, and the dummy load that's in it can handle 150 watts in open air. So what I done was I got it and I put it into, you can't really see it, it's in there. Can you see it? I can't see the screen. Yeah, see the can down there? So that's a 2.5 litre can. The dummy load is submerged in it, and there's a mixture of vegetable and burnt engine oil in it. So it'll handle whatever you throw at it. So I use this as my power meter, simply because it's, it's Vanny's, and to keep his old spirit alive, and he gives me a hand with every radio that goes on the bench here. So this thing has a power meter and it has everything in it, so I kind of tend to use this more for synad and stuff like that, so rather than using it. The generator is a little dicky in it, where sometimes you'll have it generating a signal, and it might, after 20 minutes or half an hour, it might conk out, and I can't be arsed looking at it. I don't know anything about these things. So we made this new shelf here. Oh, sorry, I'm going out of sequence. So we have this then. It's a Hickok model 203. It's a vacuum tube voltmeter, and you don't use it that much, but it's there when you want to use it, so it works and all, so it's grand. And Of course, trusty old Fluke 115. Just kind of leave that sitting there. So I made this new shelf thing, a little bit more, this extruded frame here, put this shelf over it, kind of comes out at an angle. So we have the scope, Tektronix TDS 1002. This is a DSO, and it's kind of got a LCD display in it. I have to admit I'm not mental about it, but I would prefer the Cato. I wouldn't mind. I'd throw out the old Hitachi one I had here, but in saying that, the tube was on the way out in it, so that's why it went to the bin. So I need to spend more time playing with this thing. I do have it where the line that comes into this from the bench when you're testing a radio, there's a sampler in there. That's off in at the back, you can't see it. So that's sample coming from that, so you can see the modulation and all that kind of carry on the screen for when you're setting stuff up. So we just, the usual signature red paint, you know. I like me red. I just like the red. I just like how it looks. Above that then, this is a dummy load I built for doing hi-fi stuff when I'm playing around with them. It's a 100 watt per channel 8 ohm dummy load on a massive heatsink. So you can use that when you're pricking around with CBs as well if you want. You know, there's no drama that way. But here we go. That's it. So then we have the Schlumberger, the 4040. So yeah, this thing does a very, very serious amount of stuff. To be honest, I don't know how to use the half of it. I need to read the book. What I might do is I might bring the book to work with me and be reading it. Because it does an awful lot of stuff. Probably more than you'll ever need to be messing with CVs, which, you know, you need audio power, synad, sensitivity, signal to noise, all that kind of stuff. So as I said, I don't know the half of it, but you know, I have a bunch of leads I made for it here, different ones for doing different things. So we just need to spend more time playing around with it. So yeah, I left the pull out drawer there. That's all me kind of bits and bobs in it. There's more stuff in underneath. I just pull that out there and bloody leads. You know, all bits and pieces that I use, cable ties and desoldering wick and tiny drill bits in there, and you know, me testers and stuff like that. So that's that. It's a bit awkward to push it in and out, but over that side then I have the big long drawer with all me bits and bobs in it. It's just, you know, stuff that I use as well. Pliers shouldn't be in there. That goes there. Knobs and pots and signal meter stuff is all in at the back there. Signal meters and the inserts I put in them. It says Irish Custom Radios on it. So this thing is deadly handy. Yeah, all I really use this for is for doing heat shrink. So once you lift it up, we'll put that back there like that and turn it on. As soon as you lift it up, it starts. Then you put it back down, and after about 30 or 40 seconds it goes off again. It's grand and handy. And my mixer up there for the mic for the PC. Don't really use it, but it's there. Then there's the stack, Yamaha amp, Rotel tuner, Sony CD, mini disc, another Sony tuner, receiver and a tuner on top, and of course the big old speakers. So yeah, I think it came out quite well this time. I think it's going to work. So, you know, you're forever playing around with these things, and I'm kind of happy with it now. I spent a bit of time thinking about how it should be laid out and whatnot, but it took a few days to do it, of course. Lot of messing every time you move stuff, and of course had to make all new test leads then, because you know, with them coming up out of the table the way they do, they need to be pretty long. So yeah, quite pleased with it now. And you know, yeah, do you need all this stuff that I have here, like meters for the mains? And no, you don't, but I just like stuff like that. So that's pretty much the size of it. I still have bits of tidying to do and sort out the shelf up on top there for storage, but yeah, I'm quite happy with it now. So that's the version 97,462.7 of the workbench out here in the shed. I honestly don't remember how many times I've reconfigured my bench. Like, I remember many years ago I was down in that corner down there on a small little kind of plastic fold up table years ago, and then we moved over to this side because I had more space. Like this bench is I think it's 16 foot long, so it's handy. You have a space at either end that you can just kind of leave stuff there if you're putting it to one side. And yeah, so other than that, not much to say. Yeah, so we have, as I said, this is all fully loaded up now. Lots of project stuff there to be messing around with and playing with over time. Some stuff will be for sale, some stuff I'm keeping, yada yada yada. So watch this space. And that Excalibur up there is just an empty case. I'm going to do something special with that. And of course I have my own jumbo up there. I must the one in the bag, I must sort that out one of the days. And I just kind of have baskets of stuff up there, then bits and bobs, bezels, and of course I keep my vape juice there as well, because I make my own. But down here is still a bit of a mess in this corner. I was contemplating pulling these shelves out, but I would wait. If I ever get my hands on a milling machine, which is the next thing I want to go alongside my lathe. Now, you know, I don't want a Bridgeport because it's too big. Something like an Adcock and Shipley or something like that would be fine, like a tool room milling machine, you know, kind of small, 3-4 foot bed. Be plenty big enough for what I'm doing. And oh Jesus, there I dropped the phone. I've all out there tidied up as well. That was like an absolute bomb site for a while out there, but it's sorted out now. So in the future we'll be back at the bike for the people that are watching those videos. And we have radio stuff to do, and I have stuff to do in the house as well. I was all day yesterday doing stuff outside, little jobs that had been on the list for quite a while, and we're chipping away at it now slowly. So there you have it. Anyway, right, I'm rambling now, so I'll leave it there, and I'll talk to you guys further down the road. So hope you like the new bench. I know I do. And we'll talk to you soon. All the best.